So being an ally is not just being not racist, not homophobic. That's the bare minimum. That's just being a decent human being. Where allyship comes into place is the active part of it. You actively seek out, why do #Black Lives Matter? Why do we have a Pride March? Why don't we have a straight parade? If you've asked yourself these things, you start to educate yourself. So you may have had an opinion and from your own experience, but then you start to think, well, there's clearly a whole group of people that feel another way. And so you actively find out, what is that? You're buying books that are written by people who don't look and sound like you. You're understanding what somebody else's experience is and how you can support that and create an environment of inclusion. So it's listening to somebody else's experience, truly listening that that's their experience and believing them. Really, I think, why not? Kind of an obvious or kind of a simple answer, but why not? Why wouldn't you want a society that's inclusive and nice for all people? It's using just yourself to make life easier, more inclusive, nicer for somebody else. It's probably the easiest and cheapest thing you can do with such a payoff for somebody else. When your employees feel included and safe and encouraged to be themselves, then they speak up more. If you don't feel that inclusion, you just stay quiet, and that's at the expense of the company and eventually the client. So with HSBC focusing on our employee networks and pushing for inclusion, you are creating an environment that it's really better for the company in terms of growth and innovation, but then eventually safer for shareholders and clients. I think it's pretty interesting that people see financial institutions as these stodgy, square organizations. And when all of a sudden they see a headliner like HSBC for Birmingham Pride and that we're the primary sponsor, you end up being a trailblazer and a leader to say, look, you guys think that all we care about is just financial services and providing banking to the community, but we also care about the community feeling included and welcome. We have a global Pride network, and then we have regional networks. So we have the Pride UK is the one that I'm in, and then we have chapters that are based off of the locations. So we can set certain initiatives and projects that we're passionate about, but we also work with HR and our diversity and inclusion team. So we can work with the infrastructure of the bank and its machine to work on more trans-inclusive terminology and training branch staff when somebody wants to change their gender on their account to reflect their true gender, making sure branch staff don't fumble through that. And I think that's a nice balance between grassroots and people who are passionate to get certain information out, certain events out, but also doing the structural changes, which is critical. So allyship at HSBC, it's tiring when you have to fight your own fight. And so when you have others fighting your corner, or at least aware to where there may be microaggressions, it's a huge relief when somebody steps in. I don't really want to be on the sidelines and just hope it all works out for everyone. I'm glad no one did that for the suffragettes.